You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
This is the Daniel Monday Night Community Show on demand through YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing to listen to us through this method. If you'd like to keep up to date with when I add new interviews, then subscribe to this channel. So we're now going to be talking to DCI Ann Lisseman on the telephone. We're going to be talking all about the cross-county burglary campaign. Firstly, thank you very much for talking to our listeners.
That's a pleasure, Daniel, pleasure.
Would you just be able to tell our listeners a little bit about your role before we move on to our area?
Yes, I'm the head of a specialist team of detectives. We cover Dartford, Gravesend, Medway and Swale, and we're dedicated to disrupting burglary networks and bringing them to justice. And at the moment, we've got a targeted campaign focusing our extra efforts on trying to reduce burglary and also bringing offenders to justice.
Now, I understand you're actually providing equipment to victims of burglary at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, the campaign is taking different forms. What's really, really important is the crime prevention message that we're trying to get out to our public about lighting up their premises, locking their premises and listing the material. And part of that campaign is to visit victims of burglary, provide crime prevention advice, and we also provide some property marking packs for them.
So it's all about having more of a presence and creating more of an awareness to people on what you're doing.
Absolutely. I mean, very, very important is to make sure, you know, in these dark nights, the house looks occupied. We use automatic timers to switch on and off interior lights, maybe the radio on and off. Sometimes criminals are opportunists. So, you know, make sure your doors and windows are shut. Those are the kind of messages. And then, really importantly, valuable items on immobilise.com, which is a national free database to register your property. That's really, really important because, you know, on a weekly basis, as a result of our activity, we recover property and we really want to reunite that property to victims of crime.
I was going to say that's quite important because one of the things is if you log all your own equipment and it's only at home, that record could get stolen technically. So I assume this website means it's somewhere away from your home and you'll know you have a log of everything you own.
Absolutely, it's really secure. The owners have their own login details. It's free. If they go on to www.immobilise.com, it's really easy to use. So they can register their property on that. But also, if they check out the Kent Police website and go to the appeals section, there's something on there called Is This Yours? And that's where we've uploaded property that we believe is identifiable and unique. And that property has been recovered from potential suspects. It's been recovered when we've done warrants. And it's been handed into the police station. And, you know, that website really I would encourage your listeners to look at because, you know, there's items of property there that we could reunite with their owners, their losers. And, of course, we may well then be able to bring people to justice if we can identify who the property belongs to.
Was there any other areas you wanted to cover, any other bits of advice you'd like to get over to our listeners?
I think that in relation to the Is This Yours, I would like to make a specific appeal to your listeners. I mean, given that the date is today, 11/11, we have recovered a British World War I medal. Now, it was issued to everybody that was involved in World War I, whether they came back from the war or not. It was issued to a Corporal Addison.
Okay.
That person died, unfortunately, in 1948, but they were from the Royal Artillery. And if people go on to Is This Yours website, they'll see a picture of that medal, and we really would like to trace the owners of that medal, the family, so that we can reunite it today. That would be really lovely.
Well, that certainly would be good. Would you just be able to refresh our listeners again all about this campaign?
Yeah, this campaign's really important. I think there's 3 messages that we want to get out to the victims. Light it, make sure your house looks occupied, use automatic timers, lock it, make sure, your doors and windows are shut and locked before you go out, and list it. Go on to immobilise.com and list all your valuable items, including serial numbers.
I was going to ask you, if it's possible, you mentioned a few useful contact details in this interview. Could you just go over them for our listeners?
Of course I can. It's the valuable items can be registered for free on Immobilise, which is www.immobilise.com.
Okay.
And then if your listeners have access to the Kent Police website, which is www.kentpolice, if they go into the website and look down the left-hand side and look for appeals, and once you're in the appeals section at the bottom, there's a link to Is This Yours? And that will bring up pictures of items of property that we've recovered that we'd love to return to the owners.
Well, Anne, if you're happy we've covered everything, I'd like to thank you very much for letting our listeners know all about this current campaign.
And thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.